They laughed so hard when I was fired, my mom almost dropped the cake she was cutting. My brother clapped. My uncle said, "Told you computers won't feed you forever." I stood there, pink slip in hand, shame on my face, while my entire family treated my failure like a comedy show. What happens next will leave you speechless. I didn't say a word that night. I just smiled, quietly. The same way I had smiled the last 3 years when they asked, "What do you even do all day in that dark room?" They didn't know. They never cared to know. My dad raised a glass and toasted, "To finally doing something. Real with your life now, son." I nodded. They all laughed again. My sister snapped a picture of me looking down at the table. I knew she'd send it to the cousins' WhatsApp group with some dumb caption, but I didn't care. Because while they were busy mocking me for losing a 9-to-5 job I never even liked, none of them knew what I'd really built during those years at home. Not even my best friend. Not even the girl I almost married. The day after I was fired, I locked myself in that same dark room. But not out of sadness. Out of purpose. My fingers flew across the keyboard. I wasn't building something, I was finishing something. Something dangerous. Something I knew could ruin people if I let it. But I had built it to protect myself, not destroy others. Or so I thought. Because 3 days later, I got an email. Just one line. "We know about your code. Let's talk." I stared at the screen, heart pounding. No name, no company logo. Just that one sentence. But I knew exactly who it was from. 2 months ago, before I was fired, I'd found something, hidden in the company's system, buried deep, encrypted. A string of transactions that didn't make sense, millions being funneled to ghost accounts. At first, I thought it was a glitch, but the deeper I looked, the worse it got. So I did what any cautious software engineer would do. I copied the data, encrypted it, and buried my own program inside the company's firewall. Silent, invisible, constantly recording. Back then, it was just insurance. I never thought I'd actually need it. But now, they knew I had it. That night, while my family slept, I pulled out the hard drive, my backup, my leverage, everything I needed to prove what was really going on. I ran the files again, but something was different. Someone had tried to delete them. They had accessed my code, my private encryption, something that should have been impossible. Unless my hands trembled as I checked the access logs. Someone from my own house had helped them. Someone under my roof had betrayed me. That explained the sudden laughter, the confidence, the way my brother had said, "Guess you're finally one of us now." That wasn't just teasing. That was mockery with purpose. They knew. And now, they wanted me quiet. I zipped up the hard drive, shoved it into my bag, and left the house at 2 a.m. I didn't even pack clothes. Just my laptop, my drive, and the last bit of trust I had for anyone in my family. But I wasn't running away. I was heading to the one place I knew they'd never expect. My ex-boss's office, because he wasn't just part of the corruption, he was the one who tried to fire me before I found the files, and he had no idea I was about to walk in and expose everything. The building was dark when I arrived. Only a few floor lights glowed through the glass windows. But his office, on the top floor, was lit, just like I thought it would be. He never really left work, especially not when he was hiding something. I took the back elevator, used my old access card. To my surprise, it still worked. I stepped out into the empty hallway, my heart beat louder than my footsteps. As I neared his office, I heard voices. 2 of them. "He took the backup," one said. I recognized the voice instantly. It was my cousin Amir, a cybersecurity analyst who always said he hated dirty IT work. My own blood. "He's not stupid," said the second voice. My ex-boss, Mr. Luthra. Calm. Dangerous. But he's emotional. That makes him predictable. I stayed out of sight, close enough to hear, far enough to remain hidden. We've wiped his company logs, Amir said. But we think he kept a second trace, a full mapping of the pipeline. He won't do anything, Mr. Luthra replied confidently. He doesn't have the courage. Besides, he has no one. No real job. No money. He'll vanish. That's when I stepped in. I don't need courage, I said, my voice cutting through the silence. I just need one moment, and this is that moment. Both men turned like they'd seen a ghost. Amir's face went pale. You shouldn't be here? No, you shouldn't be in my files, I said, dropping the hard drive onto the desk. Made a copy of everything, every transfer, every illegal account, every password you used, Amir. Mr. Luthra narrowed his eyes. And what do you want? Money? I smiled. No, I want something more expensive than that. He raised an eyebrow. Which is? A front row seat when everything you built burns down. I plugged in the drive. The screen lit up with dashboards, flowcharts, proof. Everything in real time. Amir lunged toward me, but I pulled out my phone. Take one more step and this goes public. 10 seconds. All my followers. All the press. Mr. Luthra held up a hand. Wait. That's when I saw it. Real fear. Powerless fear. You think I came here alone? I asked. You think I didn't plan this? They were silent. I told you. I whispered. You underestimated the wrong guy. Suddenly, Mr. Luthra's phone buzzed. Then Amir's. Their faces drained. Because at that exact moment, every company screen, from HR to legal to public relations, started flashing the same message. Internal breach detected. Admin access. Compromised. They looked at me in horror. I didn't come here to threaten you, I said. I came here to end you. Sirens blared outside just seconds later. Not police, internal security. The kind companies call when they believe there's a hostile breach. Funny thing was, I didn't trigger it. They did. In their panic, Amir had logged in using the emergency override to try and wipe the files. That action alone sent alerts to the board, and now they were all watching. As the doors burst open, 2 men in black suits stepped in, followed by a woman holding a tablet. I recognized her, Sonia Mera, the company's head of compliance. She looked at me, then at Mr. Luthra. Did you really think you'd get away with it? She asked coldly. I have no idea what he's talking about, Mr. Luthra stammered. This is all fabricated. Sonia didn't even blink. The system traced everything back to your master account. You're done, Luthra. Amir stepped back, sweating. I was just following orders. No one's talking to you, traitor. I cut in, that moment, that exact moment. I had dreamed of it for months. All those nights I was laughed at. Every dinner table insult. Every time they said, "Why don't you get a real job?" Every smirk from Amir. Every time I was the joke. And now? They were the ones shrinking in the room, powerless, exposed. Sonia turned to me. We've reviewed your audit. Impressive work. Very few people would have caught what you did. Even fewer would have built a system capable of tracing it. I nodded, keeping calm. I didn't do it to be impressive. I did it to be safe. Still, she said, the board wants to meet you. Immediately. Mr. Luthra's face twisted in confusion. What? Why? Sonia looked straight at him. Because the board just made him acting CTO. Silence. Amir's mouth fell open. Luthra looked like he'd swallowed a knife. I walked past them without another word, but just as I reached the door, I paused. Turned slightly, just enough for them to hear. Oh, and Amir? He flinched. Tell my family. Next time they laugh at someone, make sure he's not the one holding the entire company in his hand. I stepped out, not as the black sheep, not as the unemployed joke of the family, but as the man who exposed the corruption, took back his power, and left his enemies to drown in their own lies. And the funny part? This was just the beginning, because they had no idea what else I was hiding.